right, I think I'm live right now. It's looking like audio is working. Hopefully someone can confirm that shortly. But hey, it's been so long since I've done this. I'm going to start with a quick apology. I have made 4 videos in the last 2 months. Horrible. I'm so sorry. The work has kicked my butt this entire quarter. I'm trying to figure out a realistic way of doing this more consistently. All right. I'm hoping after the first week of April I'll be much better. All right. But I'm gonna start doing this live. I'm gonna do the indices, my thoughts on the war, what's gonna come next. I have a list of, we'll call them popular tickers. From there, we're gonna look at the weed sector. Excuse me. From there, we'll look at the quant sector. From there, we'll look at a couple nuclear stocks. I'm going to end it with, what is it called? With oil tickers. And then we will open it for any comments, any requests, if there are any. All right. So let's get into it. And look, things are definitely worrisome right now. All right. When we look at QQQ, when we look at SPY, right, we're seeing the exact same thing. When we look at the DJ30, the Dow Jones, we're seeing the exact same thing. 2 rather scary candles in a row, Thursday and Friday. All 3 of them, right, the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ, are under all 5 moving averages. All right, easy to say that NASDAQ, which is QQQ, right, like this one does look the worst. And we're starting to get real worrisome. You can see a couple lines that I have right there. I don't know if we're going that low or not, but what it feels like, and I mean, you can see it, it lines up almost perfectly, and this line's been there for a while actually. It's feeling like we might be dropping from the 50 and coming to the 100 on the weekly. Right? If you're going to lose all the moving averages on the daily, there's no other place for us to really guess. There's definitely a green, green, green. That's a scary red, red, red down, right? And again, on the weekly, it kind of lines up to there, right? Are we going to lose the 100 on the weekly? Yo, I have no idea. And we'll get there if we get there, right? But losing all the moving averages on the daily makes me come to the weekly and start to wonder if we're going to come to the next one down, right? The concern really is it's the same across the S&P 500, right? Daily is under all. We had that Thursday, Friday that was just really rough. And again, when you're under all on the daily, you got to move to the next time up, and we're now below this 50, and you lose the 50, you're going to come to the 100, right? So it's getting worrisome. And hey, I for sure see the weekly is below 30, right? I for sure see in NASDAQ the weekly's almost 20, right? But there is some things to be worried about. You know what I mean? So we will see. Hey, thank you for the comment. I love it. We will see what things look like right now, right? And again, when all the indices are good, right? When all of them are above all the moving averages and do beautiful things, right? S&P 500, when they're all above the moving averages and doing good things, right? When they're all above, you get what I'm about to say, right? Right at the same time, they all went up and amazing things happened to our trading accounts, right? The concern really is the inverse about to happen. All 3 are falling below, right? So the next thing I'm just going to show really quickly, look, this doesn't happen very often. Oh, this is Compass, sorry, Comp. This doesn't happen very often. So 2023 was basically when we got back over. There have been a couple scares, but there's only been one moment, and it was the tariff thing right there, right? Was it? Yeah, it was the tariff thing. COVID for sure did something, but my view isn't here, right? The COVID drop happened already, but in the last 3 years, this is the first time we've been here, and arguably, it's kind of the same thing, right? You see that scary one too. I don't know if we're going to recover or not, but the real question is, are we just going, right? Which is basically what that is. And I mean, man, we'll see. But look, the concern has to be there. That's at least the thoughts across the indexes. And look, the war is just wild right now. And the Kobeshi letter is a real good thing to follow on Twitter. All right. They put some as unbiased things that as I've seen, seem to know economic things and, like, you know, talking about like interest rate. the bond rates and things that I just really don't know about. Kolbeshi letter, check it out. It's well worth a watch. They're an interesting way to guide you through all this like crazy nonsense, right? But again, until we get over more moving averages, it feels like we're going down to the 100 moving average on the weekly. All right, so this is right here going to be where I chapter the index thing. We'll call it 515. Look, as I start to cover the next stocks, and we're going to start with ONDS and go, you know, from like I said, a number of popular stocks onward, right? You have to remember, when the index is not good, the little tickers that we buy and sell are not going to do well either, right? The index is the ocean. NASDAQ is the ocean for all tech stocks. And ONDS is the boat that we're on. And believe me, it is harder to be in the ocean when there's crazy waves, when there's icebergs, etc., hurricanes, tornadoes. I don't know what the weather thing is, right? Tsunami, I think is what it is. But you get what I'm saying, right? The ocean is rough. And you're going to start to see that, you know, either already impact a number of stocks, or really it's about to start, because yeah, now's the point where things are losing moving averages, right? So this is worrisome right here, right? This 100 moving average line, this is the second strongest moving average line we have, right? It did a very, very good job over the last 2 months, basically, right? All of February and all of March. It did its very, very best to hold this thing as we constantly try to get above the 50. End of the day, it now looks like we're going to start heading below it, right? That's a scary candle. That looks like a very bad confirmation. And at this point, the next real line is this. It's 50% of this big candle. It's almost the top of this thing. And that's give or take where that 200 is probably going to end up in the next couple of days, right? But that right there, and yeah, I'm going to delete this line. That's basically that right there. And then I think it's this, which might be the top of that. And we can go a little bit lower. Yeah, look, these are the next lines down, 770 and 6, okay? I think this 200 moving average sitting around 725 is basically this line, right? Maybe we can like kind of try to hold it off a little bit, but I think between 777 and 725, I think these are basically the same resistance, give or take. The line under it is 6, and yo, if you lose 6, that's such a bad green to what could be a horrible red, all right? When I was talking about the NASDAQ, right, the next place I was looking was the weekly, and my thought was we're going to go from this moving average all the way down to this moving average, right? So you have to imagine I'm now expecting to go from this moving average all the way down to here, and it actually lines up with the 6 right now. So, you know, 777 and 6 are basically, you know, these seem like the lines on the weekly almost perfectly, right? It's the top and bottom, almost the top and bottom of that. Like, yeah, this looks like it's going to want to head to 6. That's only a 48 RSI. That does mean there's room for this thing to keep heading down. It's gotten as low as 29 on the consistent side, and then it peaked at the bottom at 18 on this weekly not that long ago, actually about a year ago, right? So this looks worrisome, and like I said, until the NASDAQ does, so will most things, right? When we look at IREN, this looks exactly like the NASDAQ. Right? NASDAQ, I'm going to keep going back and forth to this, right? Because there's not much more I can say. NASDAQ under all the moving averages, IREN under all the moving averages. I mean, goodness, that's the line. Yeah, we're already under that, right? Obviously, this is the lowest candle down here, right? And this is an easy one to click and look, hey, that's actually where we're at, and it might have looked smarter clicking on that, but this is the biggest candle in this drop, right? And that bottom also lined up with the top right there. So to me, this is the more important line. It's that 36. We lost this line. We lost and confirmed the loss of the 200 moving average. From here, it is green to what looks like a 24.75 red down, right? The daily's only at 41, so my goodness. Yeah, because I'm worried we're going to lose this line and come all the way down to the next line, which is actually at 21.50. All right. I'm trying to say good things, and believe me, my views and all this would be a lot better if I said good things, but you want to hear the truth more than you hear good things, all right? So, hey, I like that CIFR's at least still holding this line, but it's a little bit hard to believe that this line's going to hold given everything that we're seeing, right? You can see I'm not even talking about the lower indicators right now. Like, this is all about the NASDAQ. This looks really bad. COPQ, though. This is all about the NASDAQ right now, right? And until things look better, I'm making the same assumptions here on all the tickers that we're looking at, right? So yeah, it is a little cool that we're still over the 200. I can't believe we're going to hold it. I think 13 is going to be the next resistance. I think we're going to lose 13. And I'm just going to lower this line real quick. It's almost perfectly 50% of this candle right here. You can see it lines up almost perfectly the bottom of that thing right there. If we lose 13, green will red us all the way down to 10, under 10, and we're coming down to 7. All right, so CIFR is looking tough, and again, until NASDAQ looks any better, it's really hard for all of these DVLT. Wow, I couldn't read my writing. All of these are tech stocks, right? Like you can kind of barely see it, but right there, all of these have been saying technology sector, right? This is already below all the moving averages. This thing just had earnings and it looks like it didn't like the earnings. Yeah, it feels like we're already at this 50% candle. That's literally where we're at right now, right? So 42 cents feels like it's next. I'm not drawing this. I don't think this is going to do much. I think we're dropping to the bottom of this, which is down here at around 43, 42 cents right there. It's tough. Listen, I want to say good things, NVTS, but again, look, you can see it, technology sector, right? Our technology ocean, our index is making it tough for all these little boats. And yo, these were beautiful, good, strong boats when let's just go back real quick. Let's look at ONDS. This was the point where everything was just pumping, right? From June 2025. That is when June 2025, that is when NASDAQ went above. June 2025 is when S&P 500 went above, right? June 2025, June 2025 is when all that happened, they all did the same thing, right? Right now, the worry is it's gonna do the opposite. And this will do this if all three kind of in unison stay very below that line, right? So just keep all that in mind, right? NVTS, did I finish this one? I'm not quite sure. I don't think I did. Look, we've been dancing with this 200 moving average. It feels like we're about to lose this thing, and man, that's got to be the next line I draw. What's the above it? Because we haven't lost that yet. And then what's your bottom? That's it. Those are the next three lines down. 745, 645, 530. That's the 1, 2, 3 right there. We can't lose 460. I don't want to talk about that low just yet, but those are the next three lines down. That's a very high 49, right? Especially if I'm worried that it's going to go into the 20s. And again, 745 is basically the next moving average down on the weekly. Arguably, these two are kind of that same one because most of them have had like a little bit bigger of a gap. We might even be worried about falling as low as 575, but again, we'll see as things move on, right? EOSE, I like this one a lot, and it's so sad to see this thing go down. I remember just watching this thing try to break 16 and just do some nice things. Never happened. Instead, we're all the way down here at 4, right? I mean, just in 75% loss right there, right? Give or take, not just quick math, but this is below all the moving averages, right? And where are you on the weekly? Oh man, this thing wants to come right here. Let me at least just draw this to see what it looks like on the daily. Yeah, look at that. It's at this point right here. That makes a lot of sense, right? Under that, it's probably going to be something along the lines of that, and then under that, my goodness, it's probably that. 245. This thing can really come as low as 245. Horrible. I'm telling you, I thought this was going to break 1612 and just take off. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Let's look at BBAI. Excuse me, BBAI. Horrible, 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 horrible. This support tried to do as much as it could. It really did try to do as much as it could, but my goodness, we're already down to this line right here. This thing's been below. I mean, you break all 5 up and you fly. You lose all 5 and you die. And my goodness, this thing's been down for a minute and a half right now, right? So horrible. Where are we on the weekly? Oh my gosh, this is potentially going to lose all of them on the weekly as well as the daily. From there, I got to go to the month. Oh my gosh, this thing doesn't even have a line below that. It kind of feels like this thing wants to come to 184. If I had to take a swing, 184. Is that what this clump is right here? 153, is it this clump right here? 184. Look at that. It's this right here. Oh man, that's horrible. That seems like the 1, 2, 3 down. Look, we're obviously below this 322, but we haven't technically lost it just yet, right? So 322, 250, and 190. I'm rounding the numbers right there. Again, with the tech ocean not doing well, I don't care that this is a 14 RSI. For sure, a 14 is low. For sure, a 14 is where this thing made a bounce previously. But in my head, the ocean's only getting worse, not better. Right, so what would normally be a really low point for this thing to turn around? Nah, I don't think so. I think I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Right? I mean, this is a real nice red to green all the way up to at least 350 or 390 if I'm wrong. Right? But it really feels like honestly feels like 380 is less likely than 180. And we're sitting at 315 right now, right? Like that 180 is significantly closer, but in my head, oh man, it's like 80-20, you know what I mean? And this one's the 20, so it's scary, it's tough, and it is hard to go deep into the ocean of profit when the ocean is crazy. Look at SoundHound, ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Like this looked like it was ready to go 30s and 40s. They were dropping these good contracts. And I mean, now, these are the next 3 lines down, right? 488, 360, and 230. And there are crazy gaps, crazy reds, and really only one. This 488 is the only strong line, right? From there, that's a gap. That's the gap below it, right? So 488 really needs to hold. And I mean, are we already at this 50% right here? Yeah, that's basically where we're at, right? Let's see how strong 575 is. Let's see, but it feels like we're coming to 488. It feels like we're coming to this, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 month stretch. And oh my gosh, that has to, I don't care that this is a 22 RSI. I really don't. It's when the ocean is bad, it's bad, right? Oops, sorry. We're looking at SOFI. This one is the one that probably shocks me the most. I'm shocked that this is not a $30, $40 stock, but I think that's just a reminder of when the markets are bad, good tickers don't do well, let alone the little sillier ones, right? Hey, sometimes some extra silly things happen on extra silly stocks. We'll get to that a little bit later, but yeah, it's a individual ticker is rarely above the market. All right, SOFI is a good stock. SOFI has some like good fundamental money, not a lot of debt. I'm kind of just saying words. I don't really know these. There's a lot of stocks that are in that. Really good, strong fundamentals. The best CEO, the most honest CFO, and you know, the best sales team, right? The most efficient operations manager, CMO, right? The most tech savvy CTO. There are really, really good fundamental companies with a lot of money and a very little debt and high margins and good customers and, you know, good retention in those customers and good getting more customer acquisition. That's the word I was looking for, right? Yo, none of that matters when the NASDAQ is losing all the moving averages on the daily, when the S&P 500 is losing all the moving averages on the daily, and again, when the Dow Jones is as well at the exact same time. What we'd love to take advantage of is all of them doing well. And SOFI, as good as a ticker this is, yo, this thing's coming to 1245, right? This is nothing more than green, 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 green. And honestly, I could lower this to here because it's a little more in between this thick of the like November to March. We're still already under that, right? Like 1245 is the next place this thing is going. I would have never guessed that 1245 is where this thing wants to go. And honestly, what I've been saying on all of it is on the weekly, I'm expecting us to go from the moving average that we're at now all the way down to the next one down. And this thing's actually lower than that. It's at 1175. Yo, I can't believe it. I'm a regular human, right? And this is why I like the moving averages, right? It just, the technicals don't, the computer has no heart, man. The computer doesn't care. The computer doesn't need to say, oh man, I was wrong about what I thought about SOFI, right? Like, and how that messes with your head and stuff. Because hey, I'm an educated dude. I don't like saying I was wrong, right? You're an educated girl or dude, whatever, right? Like, you know, it's tough, but this thing's coming here. It might even come to that 11 that we just talked about, all right? So last one on this popular list, and then I'm going to look at the weed stocks and then three other sectors after that, all right? Last one's plug. Yo, I've been watching this thing. It looked like it wanted to take off on this 100 moving average. And I don't know if the issue was volume. I don't know what. And look, you hear me say it all the time. When all the moving averages are really, really tight, you see either a crazy up or crazy down. And you can see I had my 3 lines up, right? Because I thought this thing was going to take off. And if this got over 254, I was ready to load the boat and see how high we went, right? But we never got that high. I'm now wondering if we're about to go below that. And hey, I got to start drawing some lines down there, right? So we'll do that. Oh, let's do here. That's 50% of that. Percent of that. And then, yeah, let's do that. I like that. Boom, boom, boom. So we cannot lose 210. Okay. If we lose, let's even call it like 2. I mean, let's just do an even 2. 2 is really low. 205. Let's do 205. If this loses 205, I'm now wondering if we're going to come to 110. Okay. If this breaks 254, yo, I'm thinking 455. All right. So when all the moving averages are really tight, you violently go up or you violently come down. This thing hasn't decided yet. Volume, again, might be an important thing, and we really do need about 100 million shares traded, but those are the lines right there. I don't have the 2 drawn. I'll do that. You know what? Let's do that. Let's do this. Let's do 201. Let's do 201. It's fine. I think that's a little low. Let's do that right there. 203. I'm compromising with myself. Break 254 and fly, lose 203 and die. I think that's what we're looking for on plug. It is really hard to hold tickers overnight. I really would buy, hope it pops. And when I say hope, it's going to go over this and then watch it go, right? But it is still hope because I have absolutely no idea. There's no crystal ball or guarantees. But I would sell like at 12. I live on the West Coast, right? So 1 o'clock my time, 4 o'clock Eastern. 12:59, I sell it all. Because again, what goes up seems to come down like 7 to 14% the next day, right? Horrible. Things that should sustain aren't doing it right now, right? But if this goes up, I would not hold the thing. If it continues, I would buy again in the morning, sell again at 12:59, right? So it is what I call a mouse stealing cheese trading for sure, right? But this is one that I'm still actually watching relatively. So this was my list of popular stocks. I'm going to do the weed sector, the quant sector, the nuclear sector, the oil sector, and then if there are any viewer requests, throw them in the chat, and I will for sure cover those. All right. So let me put my next chapter break at 24:40. Lovely. Cool. All right. So let's come into TLRY. So this is one that we've been talking about on the Discord. All right. And I didn't draw it here because honestly, I haven't been looking here, but I'm going to draw this line right here. So we've been talking about the importance of this 7 line because you can see it was a resistance, 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 and then the gap up monster. Then it became support, 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 and now we're back to resistance. Yo, this 710 line would put us back over the 8 and the 20, which again, you know is very, very important for me, right? Good things happen over the 8 and the 20. Bad things happen under the 8 and the 20, right? So got to get back over 710. Otherwise, that's where things get like worrisome, right? Because basically a little bit below 6, right? We'll call it 590. And then after 590, I think I would take this because it's just red, 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 green, 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 and then a potential red, red, red. There is a real shot that this thing comes to 460 unless we get back over that 710, all right? Is earnings coming up? Hey, let me know if that's accurate or not, but it does look like earnings are coming up next week, actually. Let me know if that's correct or not. Look, I think the problem also becomes good earnings don't really matter in a bad market. I've seen, I think HITI's a great example. I'm going to cover that one shortly, but yo, look at this HITI doji. Earnings was so good that it opened all the way up here at 270. And then lo and behold, we're down here, right? And that's the concern. Like normally what I say is, hey, if your chart is really bad, a good earnings totally will flip everything around. Earnings erases the good or it erases the bad. I can't say that right now because again, the ocean is crazy. Yo, the Titanic sank, right? Like as good EONR. Yo, I did not. I will cover EONR at the end. I have an oil sector that I'm planning to cover. Throw in a couple other tickers you want me to do in the chat. But one more time, the Titanic was a good boat, all right? Let's pretend that's a stock with good earnings, right? All of a sudden, you're getting that extra armor. You're able to charge a couple extra first-class seats, right? Like, yo, the Titanic still sank. And right now, we're in some iceberg ocean stuff, right? So, hey, maybe like high tide, a good earnings will take us from here all the way up here. But my believe it's going to sustain and go. Hey, clearly it didn't happen here in the sector, and it actually hasn't happened in other sectors, and that's just rough right there, right? So again, TLRY 450, 460 actually feels like it's next right now. Coming to CGC, you know, this thing was trying to stay with all the moving averages, and this is basically what I was talking about with Plug real quick. Let me just come back to it. Plug, super tight on the moving averages right there, right? CGC, super tight on the moving averages right here, right? It didn't do the violent drop necessarily, but it did randomly suck it back in, take it all the way up, and then, you know, you see here. But yeah, right now we're just under all the moving averages. Oh, no. No. Is that all-time lows? No. That's horrible. So this 62 is probably from a reverse split that happened, but that's horrible. Okay. We're even below the lowest weekly line. I mean, so 96 cents is what we need to get. Oh man, hold on. Let's delete all these lines. There's way too many lines. That's just bothering me. Cool. So we must get 96 cents back. Where is that on the daily? That's that right there. And then this right here. All right, 81 cents is next. If we lose 81 cents on CGC, we will fall into the black hole vortex that is all-time lows, all right? Can't go into all-time lows, especially as the market is looking ugly, right? So honestly, this one's rough right here for sure. Normally, I would say, hey, maybe TLRY earnings is going to be good and help this thing. I can't say that right now, right? MSOS, what was this like $5 battle since August? trying to. Second attempt, trying to. Ends up coming all the way down to this 3 whatever we're at. The exact same Thursday and Friday as most of the indices. It seems like we're coming to 260 next. I don't even know if I should draw this line because it feels like that's it's basically where we're at right now. Gosh. Where are we on the weekly? Is that the all-time lows right there? Gosh. All right. That's horrible. So that seems like the next 3 lines down. 320, 260, and 220. We're basically at that 320 line too. So horrible. Just what looked like it should have broken 5. You know what I mean? Hey, look, let me just say this real quick. I still somewhat believe that Trump is going to do something good for this sector. All right. I think we can all easily agree there are too many things on the guy's mind right now. Right. And the sector, the legalization, the federalization, the banking, the interstate, commerce, right? Whatever. That's so far from this guy's top priorities right now. You know what I mean? So it's what should have been a better 4 years for the sector is now kind of starting to be like, are we going to wait for the next guy or girl to win, right? Like, horrible, right? I still remember Obama winning and me being like, oh, let's go. And look at where we're sitting at right now, right? So, so let's take a look at high tide real quick. And I kind of said a lot of this during TLRY. This was good earnings. This went from a close of 249 all the way to an open of 270, all right? Things don't pop like that if it wasn't good earnings. The problem is the market isn't good. And normally good earnings can help, rise the seas and over, the tide, something about the tide and the boats. I used to say that all the time, whatever. It's been a while since I've done this. But even good earnings does not supersede a struggling index, right? And Dow Jones isn't looking good. S&P 500 isn't looking good. I don't really care about NASDAQ when we're talking about this sector. If those two aren't doing well, it's going to be really hard for an individual ticker to do any better, right? And this is below all the moving averages, even though it had good earnings, right? And that's just tough to see, right? So what are the next lines down? Let me do the next lines down. It's basically that 175 because, we're sitting in this right now. That's tough. Yeah, look, we haven't lost it yet. I'll still draw that right there, but it's basically this. It's 230, 2, and 175. That seems like the next 1, 2, 3 down on this. Again, good earnings don't matter. Look, if you're long, hey, it's hard to get good earnings in a tough market, right? And if you're long, you put that in your back pocket as a win, but yeah, there's going to be some short-term pains just given what's going on completely outside all these tickers, right? This is a previous death line. Look at that SNDL. I actually had no idea. So we were watching this death line in 2025, and I'm just zooming out to show you. You can see there's a bottom point right here in 2020. There's several hits on this line from 23 all the way, basically, let's call it a year, right? From this April all the way to that April right there in a year, a couple month window right there. We're back at it, right? So 137, clearly we're below it. I wouldn't necessarily say we've lost it. Those are more doji candles than consistently bad red candles, right? But death lines are not good, right? We want to break the golden lines and be in the good place. Death line clearly means bad stuff, right? And if you go below this, I always say you're going to lose 20%, then another 20%, then another 20%. The black hole vortex is not a good place for your money, all right? So, I should have covered this. I'm going to do this at the end. I want to talk about one other sector before I do open it up. Again, EONR, I am going to cover. If there's any other tickers you want me to cover, let me know. I am done with this sector. We're going to call it 34 minutes flat. Lovely. Let's come into the quants. Look, I still like the quant sector. I still believe in AI. I still think quant is going to do some good things with that AI. The stock market don't care about any of that right now, right? Like the stock market is trying to survive. It is trying to keep its head underwater from going underwater, right? So, the hopes and beliefs of quantum over the next 5 years get in the back of the line. You know what I mean? So, we never got back over that golden line, right? Good things happen over the golden line. We didn't lose it. We tried to get back over, but now it kind of feels like we're coming to this line right here, right? So 1020 looks like the next line. Yo, we can't lose 1020, but if we do, the next place would be 7. And horribleness will happen under 7, and we're not going to talk about that now. It does, though, feel like that 1020 is relatively likely. So that's what it looks like. I like that. Cool. Regati is right there. QBTS. D-Wave. Again, D-Wave was an awesome one. Great things happened over that golden line. I wanted us to get over that golden line. They just never did it. We're back to this one. Oh, no. Are we here? Yo, we're here already. That's a rough place to be, because now I got to believe that this is going to gap down to 1040. And then from 1040, that's a tough 1, 2, 3. But 1470, 1040, and 660 are the next 3 lines down. And with the speed of the up and down, right? Because we went up and then crashed. We flew, and then little by little, death, then flew, right? Like that could go down quickly. And then the exact same thing, right? And I wouldn't call that a fly necessarily, but yeah, that's a scary 1, 2, 3 right there. Just be careful right there on QBTS. QUBT. This one's been rough for a bit. Yo, are we already here? We're not there yet. That's the next line. Then I guess we'll do, well, what do you look like? Yeah, it's you. Man, then it's you. All right, 6, 5, 350. That's basically the next 1, 2, 3 down on all of these, right? So look, most of these I would basically say if we can get back over the 20 moving average, things are going to start getting interesting. But, for those to get back over the 20 moving average, NASDAQ is going to need to get back over the 8 and the 20 moving average. At the minimum, it needs to start clawing its way back up to the 8. You know what I mean? So got to look at the index first before we start to assume that like these low RSIs and these reds can turn into the greens that we love, right? So look, again, I am not talking about anything down here. Right now, all I'm really doing is using the upper chart information, whether it's moving averages or finding support points, and guessing where we're going to go down. Because the index, that's all I can really focus on right now, right? They is Kobeshi letter. I'm gonna say that name one more time. Yo, I for sure don't get paid to say that dude's name, all right? I promise you that. He does not know who I am, all right? Kobeshi letter, and I can't spell that last name for the life of me, but I might even be saying it right. Is it Kobeshi? I don't even know. Whatever. Look up that name. You'll find it, I promise you. The guy's first name's Adam. He has a really good Twitter account. He's been on Fox. I don't know if he's a Republican or not, but he seems to be on Fox a lot. The guy has been dropping some relatively unbiased information on how he sees everything play out. And he talks about things that I have absolutely no idea about. He talks about the bond rates. He talks about just like geopolitical things, macroeconomic, microeconomic. Yo, dude, I'm just a guy looking at these colorful lines and saying some stuff with a smile, right? So listen to that. And it's a good way to start to believe things are going to get better, even while we get the noise. Because, like, there's a lot of headlines saying this and that, right? Like, he seems to stay relatively unbiased and let's make some money focused. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, that's what it's about, right? So, cool. IONQ, again, I'm going to just be doing the same thing, right? That seems like the next point down. That seems like the next point down. I got to draw one more. That sucks. Yeah, it's probably you, right? Maybe it's even you. Those are the next 3 lines. It's 24, 19, and 14, right? And look, as horrible as these lines are, what it does is it lets you prepare and it lets you think about what you want to do, right? If you're ready to watch this thing go down, it's a lot better than just watching it go down and not knowing, you know what I mean? So you can plan for bounce points, you can plan for average up, average down, whatever you want to call it, right? So you know, I don't like saying bad things about what feels like 20 tickers already, right? But I'm here just saying what the lines are telling me, right? And more than anything, it's less about the lines. And look, I keep going back to this, and I apologize if you've heard me say this like 3-4 times, but if it engraves in your head, it's a great thing. When all three major indices, when the NASDAQ, S&P 500, and the Dow Jones are in unison, you take advantage of it one way or the other. In June of 2005, the ascent started on the NASDAQ, on the S&P 500, and on the Dow Jones. When the three indices were in unison, amazing things happen and we attacked accordingly. Right now, all three are in unison. Ooh, I need some water, excuse me. Ooh, excuse me. We are below all the moving averages on the Dow Jones, on the S&P 500, and on the NASDAQ, right? That's not the unison I like. And, you know, look, sometimes the best thing you can do is absolutely nothing at all, right? And it's boring, especially if you're a crackhead like me who likes to gamble, right? Like you put a couple $100 on something and man, it's so much fun and this and that, right? But yo, death by 1,000 cuts sucks. I've lost silly money on death by 1,000 cuts. Little loss here, a little loss here, little loss. It's not like I lost like boom, bad, minus 30%, and I'm out. No, these little 7% losses, these little 6% losses, this an 11% here and there. Oh man, it adds up and it hurts and it sucks, right? So doing nothing can be a really good thing sometimes, all right? This is the next section right here. And I know I went on a little bit of a long ramble, but we're going to talk about the inverse tickers. So SQQQ is starting to look good. And SQQQ, which is the short of QQQ, and it's the ultra short of QQQ, is now above all the moving averages and starting to take off. You can see it's the exact opposite of QQQ, right? If you're going to short it and it's looking bad, and hey, don't be oblivious to the fact that this thing is a horrible stock, right? The market tends to do really, really well most of the time. This thing is in a constant on the way down since that 2023 that we had started to zoom out on this video on, right? But there are moments when crazy bad things happen and this thing takes off. And this thing goes from a 133 all the way to a 266. And you got to remember, even if this thing goes up like 5%, right? Yo, most things are going down 15, 20, 30%, 15% at least, right? So I would love to make 4% a day as opposed to losing 7% a day, right? So SQQQ, SH, all right? This is, look, that one's the Ultra Pro. This one's just the Pro. There is for sure an Ultra Pro short S&P 500 as well, right? But you can see this short starting to look like the same thing, right? What's the SDOW? SDOW starting to look the same thing. That same unison on the indices is the same unison on the inverses, right? So this is an interesting place to put your money if you want a little bit of a gamble, like, you know, hey, I like putting the money in this is where it feels like you can kind of hold a stock for a couple days, right? Because now you're kind of betting, oh, I think the ocean's not going to be good, right? And hey, my golden line's all the way up here. I've been saying most things are going to go to the golden line, but really, I really wouldn't say that. I think for now, 103 is probably a really good target for now. This 91 is going to be a tough line, but yo, you get over 91 and it's nothing but red, red, red to green, green, green right there, right? So quick math, it's not quite 20%, right? 16, 17 bucks will be a little bit more than that 103, but yo, that's a decent double digit, right? And then on the weekly, where we're, oh man, this actually exceeds that 126. So I might regret saying this, but where I'm expecting those to lose the moving average and fall to the next one, the inverse is break this one and go all the way up to this one. So SQQQ, SH, right? We're going to go from here to here is the expectation to 41 something. SDOW from here to here. Yeah, cool. I think that's solid right there. Those are the inverses right there. I'm going to chapter this next one at 45 minutes. Okay, we're going to look at 3 nuclear stocks, a few oil stocks, and then there are no requests in the chat, so I have nothing else after. Let me know in the chat if you want me to cover anything, all right? So real quick, OKLO. Listen, I like nuclear stocks. We need energy, right? What used to be Chernobyl nightmares are starting to become this, like, you know, power of tomorrow, right? That said, NASDAQ is trying not to die right now, not thinking about the nuclear potential over the next 5-10 years, right? You lose all the moving averages and you will go from 80 to 50. You break all 5 and you fly, you lose all 5 and you die, right? It is more than a cute little rhyme, I promise you, all right? Where are we next? Damn, this one's rough because are we here right now? Yo, that's where we're at. Look, I was drawing right here. I wasn't even looking at the candles, and that was almost a perfect 50% of that one, bottom of that. Like, we're basically at that one right there. Oh, man, I would draw you as my next one, yeah. And then, honestly, it's probably this. Arguably you. Let me see what you look like. All right. I feel like it's a cop-out draw. I'm going to delete that one. Look, these are the next 3 lines. It's 51, it's 40, and then it is 25. All I'm seeing is green, 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 red, 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 green, 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 red, 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 green, 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 red, 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 if it hits. All right? So, yeah, I don't see much support on that 30-ish line that I just drew right there. It's tough. I'm telling you, I sincerely believe nuclear power plants will be a real thing in the United States. I do. That's not the focus right now. It's don't crash the economy, right? We will forward look hope when we're hopeful, right? So we need, and let's look, this says utility sector, but yeah, I'm going to think a little bit more technology with this one, but I guess this one's saying look at the Dow Jones, right? But I feel like you got to be a little more like AI incorporated with these. I don't know. I'm just kind of talking out of my butt right now, but again, this just looks scary. This is under all the moving averages. This was the point that we lost them all. We went from 30 to 10. Horrible. 66% drop. I unfortunately am here saying we're not done dropping yet, right? Have we passed that little chunk? We're under that chunk. Goodness. So that's the next one right there. What's your 50%? I'm basically taking 50% of this thing. It's almost the top of that, almost top. I like that. So 960. Oh man, it's basically you. 760. Why didn't you draw? 570. That's the next 1, 2, 3 down. SMR. Horrible. I can't believe that this looks like this, right? But again, it's not about our human expectations, our human thoughts. For all I know, let me just say this one more time. These all might be the most fundamentally perfect company out there. They all might have the best CEO, the most honest accounting team, the most honest finance CFO team, all the cash and no debt in the world. Yo, none of that matters to me. You are over all the moving averages and amazing, or you're below them and you die. And more importantly, when the index is bad, yo, There's not a lot in between it, right? So back to NNE. I like NNE. I love NNE. I probably did most of that trade right there. I don't know if I made this one, I'll be real honest with you, but I know I at least made that second one, right? Like, this nuclear is for real. But right now, these are the lines. Like, these really are. Maybe I'll draw this thing right here, but then I would have to delete this one. You know, like, no, you're the line. That looks like there's a bottom. Maybe a 50%. Is this all one candle right there? I think this is all one candle. These are the next lines. It's 19, 13, let's call it 1350. And then, yeah, man, it's basically 925. That's the 1, 2, 3. And it's sad to think that, right? But all I can do is give the next, for all I know, the first one will catch it. For all I know, the second one will catch it, right? All we're doing is setting expectations for what we think are really good stocks. And when the market is ready, when the technicals are ready, when things are ready, we will get ourselves an 18-wheeler. I will ask my wife to get another 18-wheeler. We will drive up and fill them both up with shares, right? That is for sure the plan, for sure my belief. Like, market will recover, all right? I don't know when. That's what we're going to wait for. And doing nothing sometimes is the hardest thing. And again, one more time, I'm just going to show it. Inverses aren't in a bad place to look. SQQQ, SMR. Nope, SMR. I'm looking on my SQQQ. SH and SDOW. There are more. If you go to Google, you can say, hey, what are some inverse tickers for indices? Or for the index inverse tickers, you know, something. NASDAQ inverse, right? And you'll get a bunch of them. So let's do 5115. Cool. My wife gave me an hour, so I'm really good with time. We are now going to talk oil stocks, all right? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. EONR was for sure part of it. I actually had a typo. I did ENOR, so thank you for that. So, okay. I'm going to give a real honest baseline right here, all right? Look, I made a lot of money on this go. I did. It was a combination of TURB and BATL, all right? I crushed it. I did. I withdrew most of the money that I made because I told myself the market is crazy and any money I can make, let me at least put it in my bank account. And I feel like I have lost as much money, if not more, than I withdrew. And I'm so glad that oh my gosh, right? But it's been tough days. There have been a number of times where we gap up and then fall all the way down. Or we make these, like, this one isn't showing you well. Is BATL a better one? Maybe BATL's a better one, but there's been a bunch of like gap ups. And again, from down here to up here, you continue and then drop, right? You close down here and then you open all the way up here and then you drop, right? Even over the last couple days, this one did just do it. It opens up here at like 6 something, falls all the way down at 5. Like, it's been so up and down, and I find my like oil greed starting to mess up my oil trades, all right? And it really is because I just crushed it in the beginning. So if you're in that boat, I'm not seeing a lot of people talk about that, and honestly, I'm not even seeing a lot of people, like, I'm not doing a lot of stock things. I've been so busy, but I can't tell you how real it's been. I do think I have lost more than I withdrew, but hey, I at least withdrew and didn't lose that stuff too, right? So let me know if you fell into that little battle, into that little trap or not. But let's look at the stocks right now, okay? TURB is setting up. And TURB, I would draw this line right here, okay? I'm going to set that alert as well. An alert is not an immediate buy notification. It's definitely a come check it out. But if this gets over 299, the next place up is 390. If you're going to go from 3 to 4, that's a 33% window right there, right? So that is a beautiful trade to look for on Monday morning, okay? After 394, the next real place is all the way up there at 8 something. Maybe this is worth putting the 471, but really it's a crazy gap up and then this just a whole mess of nothingness, right? So these are the lines up, and this feels like the important weekend, excuse me, for some sort of something, right? Kobeshi letter, something like that, is well worth the checkout, all right? Next one I want to look at is BATL. Let me just say this. If we lose 211, it's game over on TURB, because we're very quickly going to drop to 160, maybe probably even drop to that 150, and then it becomes a question of, are we going to lose these two or not? So we cannot go below 210, okay? BATL. So very interesting doji to close on Friday, and look, it's basically 50% of this Thursday, 50% of this Wednesday, 50% of this Thursday, and we're right there, right? Like we literally just stayed right in the middle, and to me that makes me smile as I'm saying those words, right? We're either going to come all the way up to 843, it's the midpoint of these two lines, or we're going to fall all the way down to 450. That's basically the expectation. After 850, I would use these lines right here. I'm not really going to put a line on this. I'm not going to use a line on this. Those are the lines there, but 850 seems like, to me, if you get over 850, that's I'm going to start to believe that you've gotten over this 50 moving average. And I do believe if you can get over the 50 moving average, well, that has to mean that we have some good oil news, and it's probably going to smash that 8 moving average, right? So 850 is the line in my opinion, okay? And then it's hard, like, I think that's probably, like, don't lose 550 is what I guess I would say, but again, doji's 50-50, you know that, right? So BATL, those are the ups and the downs. This is the only sector, by the way, that I'm talking about the up and the down, right? Like, this is going to be all about the news over the next, 24 plus another couple hours. I can't do the math. Let's call it 45 hours, right? 40 hours, whatever. Over the next 40 some hours. No, I think that's bad math. Oh, I'm like, whatever. You get it. Before Monday's open, all right, we're going to see what goes down on these. And this is the only one I'm talking about, the up and the down. Every other single ticker, I've been talking about the down and just saying, hey, if the indices decide to turn around because Trump does something, then then I'll say I'm wrong, right? But this is really where it feels like it can go up or down. We're here to attack accordingly, right? So TPET, look, I like TPET. I for sure had money in TPET. I made some when I did that withdrawal that I just mentioned. I for sure lost a decent amount when I didn't, you know what I mean? But again, what are we looking for? The next couple hours, because oh man, I didn't even want to get into political stuff, right? But on the technical side, I think you can easily argue over maybe 105. I'll even set that alert. Let's set a 105 alert. Over 105, there could actually be a very nice trade up to that 125, because that's almost a 20% trade if I'm doing my math in my head right. So that's a nice double digit just in this channel. The real good trading is over 130. You get over 130, green, 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 red, 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 green, 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 red, 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 boom. And just kind of like I said on BATL, if you're making your way up to 130 because you actually were able to get over that 105 we just set that alert for, that has to mean there's some oil news that's pushing you up, right? Otherwise, I don't know if I would use this 69 cent. I would raise this. I would to here. Oh, that's a little tight. It's let's just use 75 cents. Let's just use a normal number. If you lose 75 cents, 48 will drop quickly. All right. So wait for 105 to break. Get out of the way if 75 loses. All right. 1, 2, 3. We're going to look at INDO, INDO. And here's the next one. Look, again, that's an interesting doji right on our support over 2 of the 5 moving averages, right? Like, this is either going to make its way on up to 444, 450, give or take, something like that, right in between these two lines, or it's going to fall all the way down to 370, if not maybe even 350. right? That's basically what we're looking for here. Indo, I would say, has been the weakest. I actually regret not doing EONR before this one. I'm used to those four as my 1, 2, 3, 4. But I would say Indo is probably the weakest of these oil tickers. You know, I think I'm going to add one more. I am. Sorry. Okay, cool. Oh, one more. Sorry. I got a couple more oil stocks I want to throw in. I'm still kind of within the hour. My wife is looking at me through the door, but I got you, girl. Don't worry. One more time. 445, 450, or 350. That's what we're looking at. If this gets over 475, let's go ahead and set that alert right there. Notice I didn't really set this alert. Again, Indo's been the weakest, so I think I have a little higher criteria for this thing to take my money. But get me over 475, call it even 480 if you want to set a little higher criteria than me, right? Wait for 485 even. You've got a 580, then a 7 target right after that, right? So Indo is at least worth keeping eyes on. I do like EONR more than Indo. I do. And you should be able to see why, right? This is a fresh go, right? We've made some nice moves on the 8. We slipped a little bit below the 8, but hey, it's the 8 and the 20 that we talk about, right? Good things happen over both these lines because they are a team. The 8 can only do so much, right? It's going to get tired. It's going to need to take a break. The homie is right there to take care of you. And the best thing is when it doesn't have to go all the way down here, it just can kind of go horizontal to right there, right? So this is beautiful technicals, right? This is using the 20 to get you right back over the 8. And realistically, we never use the 20. Right? I don't care about little wicks, right? This is actually still a very, very fresh 20 moving average right there, right? So if you're not in this, I would basically do that right there. Let's set an alert. Hey, if you are in this, 117 could be an interesting average up point, right? Because from there, look at that. It's almost a perfect 50% of that big candle. And really the next place I got to go is to the top of this candle. From there, you're going from 120 to 170. Maybe you can even arguably say that 19, where's your bottom? All right, we'll do that. 180. It looks like that's the top of this and basically the bottom point of that. And then third line is probably that. It's probably 220. So that's the 1, 2, 3 right there. 117, 180, and 220. You can see a lot more silliness might happen above that 220 right there. So yo, not bad at all. 2 minutes over the hour. I'll do one thing. Any other tickers real quick to throw in? Hey, we had... okay, I'm going to end it with a last sorry. I've only made 4 videos in the last 2 months. Work has really been kicking my butt. This was arguably the worst quarter I've seen in a while. I don't believe I'm going to be getting a bonus for the next foreseeable future. You know what I mean? And you can feel them just tightening the gears, right? So I also am working on another side project that's just taking up more time than I think I expected. I'm just making dumb excuses, but at least someone put in one more comment, one more ticker in there, and yo, that'll be the last thing I look at. I don't know what this one is. Pays. Is this PayPal? Is this the new? No, it's not. PaySign. Yo, look at this. So first thing I would easily say is you've kind of been hearing me say the opposite this whole time. You know what I mean? It's really tough for something to have good earnings sustain. And this actually has. Man, look at this thing. Our RSI is a little high on the daily, but that's a really fresh. Okay, so we're going to look at the weekly, I think. I would use these two as our lines down. Okay, cool. So nice. I don't know what this ticker is, but I am actually setting alerts. Okay, check this one out. Good earnings. Now it looks like good earnings, but again, I've seen tickers have good earnings and then all of a sudden like they're not sustaining for no reason. So it's interesting to see that the earnings are doing it because again, NASDAQ, this is a tech sector, right? NASDAQ's going this way. So like, I don't know if the earnings were like crazy monster or what it was. I'll probably do a little homework. For now, I would use this 501 as a pretty good support. Because, hey, we're for sure two candles. Did this one go over it? Yeah, look, you can see the green number on top is 533. The purple number at the bottom is 532. So by a penny, we got over the 200, and then you can arguably say that that was a good confirmation candle. I think I'll say that this was the first candle over the 200. If Monday confirms, yo, that's where things will get interesting. That's where we're already over that, right? Yeah, we have to be. You can see we're literally at the 50% point that I just drew right there, right? So it makes sense that this did do something, but next place should be 608. Dude, no, from there, we're talking green, 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 and we got to go 7. That's the next point. Maybe this little gap point right there at 720, but yeah, I think I'm going to skip it and go to there. Break 608 and you're going to go to 760 is what I'm looking at. If this was to come down, because again, we got an 81 RSI, right? Maybe we'll come back down to this like 530, maybe even as low as like that 514 or 5. But yeah, dude, at this point, I'm kind of expecting this thing to keep going up. Nice. I dig this. I dig this one. I do. Cool. I added a new ticker. I've never seen this one. That's why I love this community. It's definitely a two-way street. Hey, one more time. I'm so sorry. I've been really inconsistent. My goal is April that turns around. All right. I'll post this online shortly so you can get all the things. I should be able to chapter this well. I miss you all so much. You can easily email me. You can message me, and I will do my best to answer you as soon as I can. Otherwise, yeah, give me like another week, and then hopefully that second week of April, we're back to normal, all right? I hope everything is well on your side of the screen. Hey, my wife is all good, baby. As long as it's good, she's smiling right now. Don't need to say sorry to her. Hey, have a great one, everyone. Bye. How do I turn this thing off?